Amber Jacobs with Awesome Amber Design. I am a graphic designer. I started out working for a lot of other people when I got started in the business. And, I decided at some point I just discovered at some point that I was not going to be a very good butt in a chair working for other people. And so I started my own business, and now I've been in business now. I've had a business license for over 13 years, but been solo now for about 100% in my business. And I help companies, already successful companies or startup companies, pair them with beautiful branding and marketing. That marketing and branding could be everything from a logo to its identity and how that is flushed through to their marketing and sales, print and digital materials. That could be flyers, brochures. It could also be a trade show, packaging design that goes in a big box store, also to their website design and social media design. So that's what I do. But today, what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through how I go about my logo process. So I'm going to share my screen. So first, what I do is I have them answer a discovery questionnaire. And this is because I want them to invest and engage in the process right away. So I have them fill out my discovery questionnaire. And it's also for me, like I want to learn everything about their business, what makes them tick, their services, what they offer, what sets them apart, their why them statement in comparison to their competition. I want to know, their values, their story, how they got started. If they already have a logo, what inspired that original logo? I want to know, their competition, and I want to go research that competition. So that way I can better understand and maybe cherry pick from the competition what they're doing. So I'll learn everything about the products, everything about the services, their short-term and long-term goals. And then, just that way. And then if I'm also doing a website, then this will very much help me kind of stack out the flow of the website as well. And a better understanding, how to sell them in a sales funnel. So this is very helpful to me. I learn a lot about the company. And so we go through this together. So after they fill it out, we have a kickoff, we go through it. I highlight things that make sense or not make sense to ask questions, or things that are extra important in the kickoff meeting. So that way I can better, make a logo for them, or better do marketing for them, or anything like that their needs are. So I have all my clients fill this out when we engage. And then because this is a logo activity or a logo, I then have them fill out kind of like a logo activity, so it kind of get us on the same page. Because I could sit here as a designer, close my eyes and shoot at a dartboard. But if I kind of have at least an inkling of knowing what they like and dislike, this is super helpful. So I help them, tell me sort of, what they like and what they like about these logos, or what they dislike about these logos, and I learn a lot, sometimes even like color or style or, whatever that is. I learn a lot about the company's preferences. So that way I'm kind of right on target right away. And then, even with their preferences, it's like, okay, I won't do script font. I won't do this, or I won't, do these types of things that maybe I might have considered because it could be edgy or modern. But I learned that this client's like, no, don't do it. I don't like it. Don't do it. So I learned so much about a client's preferences. In this case, I learned a lot about, what inspired their original logo, right? Because they already have a logo, they're rebranding. So I learned a lot about what inspired the original, how they got there. I learned about what they want their clients, prospects to think about their business when they see their logo, because the logo is a first impression of your business. It says a lot about you. And so I learned a lot about it. So I kind of take this all in, and I even ask them like types of styles of logos, because there's word mark only logos, there's monogram logos. These are kind of abstract, kind of combination style logos, emblem style, and mascot styles. So I kind of even asked them right at the get-go, what kind of style are you even interested? Because there's lots of styles out there too. So we kind of get on the same page in the pros and cons of each. So after I take all of this in, I then dive into my logo process. So I have to take a gander at, their current situation. I take a gander at the competition in the industry. Woo Date in this case is not a hook, like it is not a dating app in that sense. It's once you already have your date and you need cool date ideas, right? So I live in San Francisco and I want to go out on a Saturday night. Instead of using the Google Webs, that is, you use this dating platform co-pilot to help you plan your date. And this company service will help you with that, whether you want, okay, I want to go to activity, drinks, and a dinner. They'll help you kind of even plot the course and the plotting of how it goes in the date night and work with you to come up with a custom date. So, I look at other companies that are doing that. I'm reading about what they do, how they do it. I take in the logo activity, and then I go kind of like, what else is everybody doing in the industry? I look at technology and social logos. I take a look at other dating apps, like what do those look like? Also, to that way understand the landscape, but then to also make sure I don't copy anything, or if I want to cherry pick, or just kind of to get myself acquainted with the industry. In this case, I looked at other planning apps because they're helping you plan dates. So I was like, okay, let's take a look at those. If I take a look at those, they had talked about, they're kind of like Top Gun guys. So they're like, maybe Goose is your co-pilot to help you plan good dates. And I was like, okay, we'll fancy that. So let's go look at some bird logos while we're at it. Because they're also kind of, it's woo date, it's about love in some way. They're wooing their date and never stop wooing your date. So I want to look at love symbols. And again, you got to look at some Goose co-pilot, stuff just for funsies, just to kind of appease that appeal. So there's some more of that, looking at like birds that woo, whether it be through a dance or a song or whatever. I tend to also look at icons. Everything from location icons to mapping to plotting. I want to take a look at those. So I take all this in, and also sometimes words can inspire thought. So I take that all in, and my goal is just to create a modern, elevated, friendly, simple logo that encompasses wooing your partner and exciting, memorable dates. So I'm a little old school with my team. We always go right to the paper before we even touch the computer. We'll use the computer to get inspired and look at logos and things, but we go pencil to paper. And pencil to paper is important because we're able to get a lot of ideas out more quickly and more fluidly without being kind of controlled like by parameters of, the computer and being so perfect. So this is like more of a quick way of doing it. So my team then does all of these sketches, and we, at this point, check in with the client. So we present the whole process and how we got to these sketches and ideas, and we present this to the client. And the client's like, wow, okay, cool. And we only focus on the symbol at this point because we don't get to do the word mark right now, because sometimes whatever symbol you use will influence the font choice or customized font that we do. So we present all this, we walk them through it, and the client's like, sweet, I want to move forward with these 2 to 4 ideas. And they give us feedback on them. So it's like, sweet, this is awesome. Now we're going to do is digital concepts, black and white only, because us humans are so impacted by color. I do black and white only. So we'll do a riff off the sketch and then pair it with different fonts. We're doing uppercase, lowercase, thick, thin, and then we pull one out that we think is the best out of that group. So it's like, here's some options. Here's our select from that group. Here's these options. Here's our favorite. And we do this for all 4 sketches. Some riffs, some ideas, selection. And we do this and we walk them through, and here's the 4 options that we think would be best. The client's like, oh, these are so hard. Which one do I pick? Well, we don't stop there. We keep going, and we looked at color. Color, as you know, is very impactful. So we kind of talk them through the color philosophy and what it means, and we walk them through that. And so we kind of present various color options, kind of like, I think we did like 5 in this one. So various color options and what they mean and the philosophy and how they could be, used within their colors. And we kind of walk them through all of these. I'll get to the end so that we can see all 6 at once. So we look at all these options. They're quite beautiful. It's like, how do I pick? But there's pros and cons to each of them that we walk the client through. And then we go through those refinements. So the client's like, I really like this one. Well, I want to see some refinements. Same thing with this. I think this color palette's the right color palette, but I want to see some refinements. So we'll do that. We'll walk them through sort of like some options different font options, different thick thins, we'll walk them through those refinements, and then we'll look at color refinements, like from teals to blues, corals to more red and pinks. So we'll walk them through all of those types of options. And we'll get to the end so you can see all three. So these are like the three different color options with its various variations, and kind of comparing them to the current color palette, to where we finally get to ding, 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 the final solution. So we work together and collaborate on the final solution. And in this case, because we're working on a hard deadline, we actually even did a working session together, because my goal is to make my client super happy, and my success is their success. So then once the logo is approved, I will then create them a one-page style guide that shows them the primary and one color options, along with the colors broken down for Pantone, CMYK, RGB, and hex, as well as the base font used for their logo. And then they also get all of their logo types as EPS vector files, as well as PNGs for them to use easily in digital format. So they own everything that they do, and this is what you get when you work with Amber Design for your logo process.